This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
It is 5 o'clock here on your Friday. Good morning to you. I'm Lauren Casey. Here's what's making headlines on this June 26th. A major interstate construction project is underway in the Circle City this morning. Working for you, the latest I-70 closure that could impact how you travel through downtown. As more people get tested for COVID-19, some people are hitting roadblocks. Call 6 investigates why there's some confusion over getting their test results. And summertime for many means fun on Indiana's lakes and waterways, but it can be really dangerous. What you need to know to keep you and your loved ones safe. But first, we do need to get a check of your Storm Team 6 forecast. Todd Clausen is standing by from home this morning. Todd, good morning. What do we need to know as we start our Friday?
You have to know the humidity is coming up and the temperatures are starting to climb as well, Lauren. And so it's going to become a little more uncomfortable than it has been the past few days where we've enjoyed the low humidity and very seasonable weather. Take a look at these temperatures already. 70 now in Terre Haute as well as Bloomington, 72 in Sullivan. So those temperatures have actually come up since the 4 o'clock readings, up a degree in Indianapolis. Normally this time of morning we're seeing our temperatures fall a couple degrees to what would be our normal overnight lows around this time of the morning or into the 6 o'clock hour. Not the case, and that's because a warm front is heading in our direction, and that warm front is just now starting to push into southwest Indiana, and that's where you see a little bit in that way of cloud cover. And then there's a broken line of showers along this front, so as this warmer air continues to advance into the area, I think by mid-morning into the noon hour, we'll get into a period where there'll be some spotty showers and a few isolated thunderstorms, nothing severe around. But once that front goes through, we get back into the hazy sunshine during the afternoon hours, so it's a small window of opportunity here this morning into the early afternoon for rainfall. And by late this afternoon, early this evening, Lauren, we're looking at high temperatures that'll be up near 90 degrees.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. Let's take a look at traffic. This is I-70 a little west of Lyndhurst Drive on the west side of town. You can see eastbound traffic is traveling up to speed, but westbound is not. And that's because we have another major road closure. It started this morning. I-70 westbound between the South Split all the way over to Ronald Reagan Parkway is closed. You can see it's an active scene behind our Kelsey Anderson. She joins us live this morning with how this new closure could impact your commute. Kelsey, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Lauren. So you can see behind me there are already barricades up here at I-70 West. You can see the road closure sign, and that is going to be closed for over a month now, as INDOT says that they plan on patching some concrete and working on bridges in this area. As most of you know, I-70 West is a popular interstate to get people to the airport, but INDOT says all collector lanes will be open to and from the airport during the closures. So to get to the airport from I-70 westbound, you should take I-465 southbound around to the Ronald Reagan collector lanes, or you can continue north on I-465 to get back to I-70 westbound. These full interstate closures will make for faster work and, most importantly, ensure the safety for all workers. Now, the timing of this work, of course, is weather dependent, so it could be a little bit longer if we do have a lot of storms coming up. And then, of course, we also want to remind you to plan out your routes before you head out anywhere downtown because of these closures. And, of course, make sure that you have no distractions while driving on the roads. I'm reporting live, Kelsey Anderson, RTV6.
Kelsey, thanks for breaking that down for us. The time now is 5:04. New from overnight, 2 people are dead after a crash on the city's southwest side. This all happened around 1:15 this morning along Kentucky Avenue, a little north of Ameriplex Parkway. Officers at the scene tell RTV6 a vehicle was traveling northbound on Kentucky Avenue at a high rate of speed and lost control. Both people inside the vehicle were thrown from the vehicle and died at the scene. Now to the latest on the COVID-19 outbreak. The Indiana State Department of Health is reporting 9 more deaths and more than 500 new cases. That's about 200 more cases than were reported Wednesday. The exact reason for the increase is unclear, but the state is reporting 12,000 new tests. That's almost 7,000 more people that were tested the previous day. 43,655 cases have been confirmed in Indiana since the pandemic began. More than 11,000 of those are here in Marion County. We know testing is crucial for identifying identifying and treating people who are infected with COVID-19, but some say the process is more confusing than they expected. Carrie Banfield has asthma, so she decided to get a COVID-19 test at Walmart on US 31. The site canceled her June 1st appointment and rescheduled her to June 8th. Carrie says that she swabbed her nose, gave them the sample, and expected an email about her results in 3 to 5 days, as her paperwork showed. Well, the days passed and Carrie did not get an email as she expected. So she reached out on day 11 with no results. Then Carrie reached out to Call 6 Investigates about the delay.
I don't know, maybe I'm a fluke. Maybe it didn't, maybe mine just got messed up, but I thought somebody needs to check into it because it's not, it's not okay. I know elder people that don't really use the computer, aren't very computer savvy. So if I'm having difficulties, I can imagine what they're going through.
Well, we reached out to the provider, eTrue North, who told us that Carrie's specimen was posted to her account June 9th, the day after her test. She is negative for the virus. eTrue North says you should get an email within 3 to 5 days. If you do not get an email about your results, try logging onto the testing site, doineedacovid19test.com. Cases of the coronavirus continue to escalate in more than half the nation. The U.S. has nearly 2.5 million confirmed cases of the coronavirus and nearly 125,000 known deaths so far. ABC's Karina Mitchell has the latest. And we will get to that story in just a moment. This is the numbers here for the state of Indiana. We want to go on to the coronavirus task force. For the first time in nearly 2 months, the White House coronavirus task force is expected to give a public update this morning. Vice President Mike Pence will lead that meeting, but it is unclear if doctors Anthony Fauci or Deborah Birx will be there. Earlier this week, Fauci told the House Energy and Commerce Committee that he hasn't spoken to President Trump in more than 2 weeks. Here at 507, Hamilton County Public Schools are announcing their plans for the upcoming school year. Public and private schools in Hamilton County issued a joint statement saying that they will start in-person class on schedule. They will also provide online and face-to-face learning options. Each district will share additional details in the coming weeks. The city of Indianapolis is getting creative to encourage Hoosiers to use masks in public. The art campaign called #MaskUpIndy is using pieces by local artists as PSAs in its partnership with the Arts Council of Indianapolis, and they're using a portion of the city's CARES Act money. Posters of the art will be given to the community centers and businesses to hang in their spaces. Any organization that would like a poster can reach out to the mayor's neighborhood advocate. 9 people have drowned in Indiana in the past 12 days, and several of those drownings are happening while people were swimming in local waterways. Our Alyssa Donovan explains what officials want you to do to stay safe in the water this summer.
Accidents on lakes and rivers can happen when you're swimming or boating, which is why it's so important to have a plan before you even head out on the waterways.
It doesn't take much for people to get into a hazardous situation and then put themselves in danger.
Which is why it's best to plan ahead.
Whether it's a lake or a river where they're doing kayaking or boating, it's just knowing what the hazards are so they can prepare for those. We have our high hazard areas with the low head dams, on Williams Creek and on Broad Ripple on the White River. However, these accidents can happen anywhere. That's why you always have to be paying attention and be vigilant with your actions.
When it comes to kayaking or tubing, make sure you have the proper protective equipment.
PFDs or life jackets are critical.
As for swimming, be sure you're competent with the natural environment. It's not the same as your backyard pool. And keep an eye out for currents and waves and underwater obstructions.
Always paying attention, because it's very easy to get distracted in a conversation, and it doesn't take long for someone to put themselves in a bad situation.
While boating and hanging out at the lake is often associated with alcohol, law enforcement says you really need to limit your consumption when you're around water, especially when driving a boat. The same rules apply on the road as they do on the water when it comes to drunk driving. I'm Alyssa Donovan, RTV6.
All right, thank you, Alyssa. Certainly good tips, because there will be a lot of people probably using waterways and pools and lakes here throughout the course of the next couple days as we crank up the heat and also the humidity just a little bit. So with the increase in humidity and the temperatures, finally come some rain chances to central Indiana. I know the timing is not good with it being the weekend, but we really do need some rain across the area. It's been a very dry month. Today, it's only about a 20% chance of an isolated shower. better storm chances over the weekend as the front comes through, and then they'll decrease through the middle of the week. This morning, as you get going, it's warm, it's muggy. Skies are partly cloudy with temperatures in the 60s to right around the 70 degrees. But just off to our west, you notice a few showers already starting to appear in central Illinois. And that is going to be the warm front that's making its way through the area. It's not a great rain chance today, but between about 10 a.m. and I would say the noon hour, don't be shocked if a quick passing sprinkle comes through your neighborhood. Once that warm front is through, look at the temperatures for later on this afternoon. Low 90s to the west, about 90 in Indianapolis, upper 80s off to the east. We'll dive into your weekend forecast in detail for you coming up in Maine weather in just a few minutes. Lauren.
Todd, thank you. The CDC is updating its list of factors that could make someone high risk for COVID-19, coming up what they're adding and why age alone is being removed. And Toyota is recalling hundreds of thousands of electric vehicles. The models the automakers say could face a major safety issue. Let's take a look right now at traffic up in the Fishers area. Good morning to you. I-69 here at 106th Street, where traffic's traveling smoothly, both northbound and southbound. Stick around. We'll have more news, weather, and traffic coming up right here on Good Morning Indiana.
The 2020 event on ABC.
Welcome back. This morning, police are asking for the public's help to find two vehicles that were involved in a deadly hit-and-run crash on the northeast side. Investigators say the first car hit 58-year-old Linda Kimbrough just after 11:30 Wednesday night on 30th Street near Sherman. As she tried to get out of the road, a Jeep Grand Cherokee hit her. Kimbrough died at the scene. The first car is believed to be a blue Ford Taurus or Mercury Sable between the model years of 2000 and 2007. It has damage to the passenger side, including a missing mirror, according to police. They described the Jeep as a dark-colored model year between 2008 and 2010. If you know anything, you're asked to call IMPD's hit-and-run office. That's 317-327-6549. The House of Representatives have passed a police reform legislation named in honor of George Floyd. The measure passed mostly along party lines. It bans chokeholds at the federal level and forbids no-knock warrants on federal drug charges. The bill has little chance of passing the Republican-led Senate, though, after Democrats blocked a competing GOP bill on Wednesday. The CDC is revising its list of people who are at higher risk for getting COVID-19. Pregnant women have been added, and age alone has been removed as a factor. The CDC now classifying it as an increasing risk as people get older. Underlying health conditions most likely to lead to suffering or death have also been updated. Sickle cell disease is now in that category, and the risk threshold for obesity has been lowered from a body mass index of 40 to 30. People with chronic kidney disease are considered to be the most at risk. Another music festival is canceling this summer. Bonnaroo originally moved the event to September, but now they've decided to cancel it altogether because of the pandemic. The lineup included top performers like Miley Cyrus, Lizzo, and Lana Del Rey. The Big Tennessee Music Festival says they will hold a virtual event instead, and that people who roll over their tickets for next year will get access for free. Bonnaroo 2021 is set for June 17th through the 20th. It is 5:16. Several states could see a massive dust cloud this weekend. It all started in the Sahara Desert, and it's made its way across the globe. Meteorologists say it's a phenomenon that happens every year, but this year it's expected to be especially big. Some weather experts are calling this the Godzilla dust cloud. Gulf Coast states like Texas have already seen some of the effects, and now it's expected to start moving towards the southeastern part of our country. And we do have some changes in our forecast for today, so more on that. Let's check in with Todd Clausen. Hey, TK.
Yeah, you know, it's 2020, right? What else are we going to have? Dust heading across parts of the Gulf Coast, Lauren, and here into central Indiana. It'll impact us a little bit. It's not a big factor for us. And by the way, this happens every year. It's not just 2020. You're just hearing about it a little bit more than you have in years past. And that's because it's a little bit of a larger dust cloud. But the same impact here in central Indiana would be a little bit of a haze in the sky over the course of the weekend. Today, we're starting to bring in the chance of rain. You notice the rain chance is kind of spike there at 11 a.m. So I think between about 10 a.m. and the noon hour, we'll have the chance of a few spotty showers, and then they diminish as we work our way throughout the afternoon hours as it becomes just very warm and muggy across the area. And here is the satellite radar picture, and you can see the skies are partly cloudy right now, but there are a few showers here across Illinois just starting to get going. and they're going to be making their way into central Indiana along a warm front. And it's this warm front that is going to usher in temperatures eventually by later on this afternoon that will be up near 90 degrees. And then there's a cold front up here as well. And that's that trailing cold front that is going to bring rain chances to the area during the day tomorrow. So it's a 1-2 punch as we get into the warm and very muggy air during the day today. The process of getting there brings a spot shower and then better storm chances tomorrow. But look at the temperatures here in Terre Haute and Bloomington, even down towards Sullivan, already into the 70s. Even in Indy at 68, that's come up a degree from last hour. So the warmer air is already starting to work in. Here is that real small storm chance or quick shower that comes through late morning, early afternoon. And then once it pushes through, we're back into plenty of sunshine this afternoon. So don't think of today as a wet day. Think of today as a very warm and a humid day, as temperatures will be getting into the mid to upper 80s across the area. Some of you will be getting into the low 90s for your afternoon highs. I mentioned the cold front. The cold front will drop down through the area during the overnight hours. As it comes through, there could be a round of some showers and storms. Tomorrow, the showers and storms will be around off and on throughout the day. I think there's probably a little more storm activity along this front during the day tomorrow than TrueCast is indicating. But just know tomorrow's not a washout. There'll be some dry hours. There's probably more clouds around than what you'll see during the day today. But there will be opportunities to get out and about both Saturday and Sunday. I just want to highlight that the storm chances will be a little higher Saturday and Sunday compared to today, and then some isolated storm chances next week in the warm and muggy air mass. Those will basically be storms that'll be popping up in the afternoon hours. And then Thursday, as we head into the 4th of July weekend, hard to believe, it looks like we get a pretty nice stretch of weather with sunny skies and temperatures, Lauren, in the upper 80s.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. Let's take a look at traffic as we're heading out there on the roads this morning. This is an area that we are monitoring closely this morning. We have a new closure on I-70. So as you're heading through the downtown area, and maybe you normally take the westbound lanes of I-70 past the South Split to get over to the west side, that is now closed for a month. You may remember the eastbound lanes were closed for a month as well in the same spot between the South Split and Ronald Reagan Parkway, so now it's the westbound side. They are leaving the Meridian Street exit ramps open though, so that is good news if that's part of your commute, but you'll want to reroute, as Kelsey mentioned earlier. You can use 65 south to 465 west to get over to the west side. You can use a collector ramp or any of the other exits to get over to where you need to go on the west side. And of course, we'll keep you updated on that project. It's all weather permitting, but we're expecting it to reopen near the end of July. Cases of the coronavirus continue to escalate in more than half the nation. The U.S. has nearly 2.5 million confirmed cases of the coronavirus and nearly 125,000 known deaths so far. ABC's Karina Mitchell has the latest now.
Faced with surging coronavirus cases, Texas now reversing plans to move forward with the next phase of reopening as the state records a record number of hospitalizations.
So my dad's hanging on by a thread. They're in there by themselves with no family. And it's just heartbreaking.
His father, one of 18 members of one Texas family infected after attending a surprise birthday party. Arizona, Delaware, and New Mexico also slamming on the brakes, pausing plans to reopen. All this while a debate rages about whether masks are necessary. From California.
Are you going to allow the government to tell you you have to wear a mask?
To Arizona.
I can't breathe.
To Florida.
It's our bodies, it's our choice whether we're going to wear them, not wear them. You guys are overstepping your boundaries.
Doctors reinforcing how vital face coverings are.
Yeah, masks are an absolutely critical component to really ending this pandemic.
A new model from the University of Washington suggests that some 33,000 lives could be saved by October 1st if nearly everyone wears a mask. And now a stunning revelation from the CDC that for every coronavirus case they have confirmed, 10 people more are likely infected. The CDC estimating 20 million people in the U.S. have been infected with the virus. That's about 6% of the population. Karina Mitchell, ABC News, New York.
It is 5:22 and Toyota is recalling hundreds of thousands of its electric vehicles. The automaker says it's over an issue with its fail-safe mode. It impacts more than 200,000 Prius models in the U.S. Toyota says because of the fail-safe issue, certain vehicles could lose power and stall, increasing the risk of a crash. The recall focuses on certain 2013 to 2015 Prius models and Prius V models made from 2014 to 2017. 2017. Toyota plans to notify owners by late August. NASA is releasing a one-of-a-kind look at the sun. The stunning decade-long video coming up just after the break. We'll be right back.
CERF.org.
Welcome back. So NASA wants you to stare at the sun safely, of course. They released this breathtaking new time-lapse video of the sun without damage to your eyes. Take a look here. This video crams 10 years of solar eruptions and planetary transitions into just 1 hour. NASA says the data collected from the project enabled countless discoveries about the sun's influence on the solar system. So what you're looking at right now is only about a month and a half of activity, but you can stare at it in all 10 years. In the full video, it's posted on nasa.gov. That's pretty cool. All right, Todd, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I think it's absolutely awesome. It's amazing the stuff that NASA comes out with. A lot of people don't think about it or, check on the NASA website, but it's more than just a space program. They do a lot of amazing stuff and put cool videos out like that all the time with a lot of great information. Here in central Indiana this morning, the sky is starting to brighten just a little bit. On this Friday, we've made it to the end of the work week. The weekend's ahead, and we're going to start to see some changes in the forecast. We're going to start off with a lot of sunshine, but some clouds already starting to increase. And you do notice that there are a few showers across parts of central Illinois. And that is the warm front that is working its way through the area. And as this warm front goes through, there will be a quick period here throughout the course of the day when we'll have an opportunity for an isolated shower or two. We'll talk more about that shower chance, the time frame, and look ahead to your weekend coming up when Good Morning Indiana continues. The time now is 5:27. We're back in just a couple minutes.
Is helping our economy and community as a whole.
This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
And we have an interstate closure happening in the downtown area. Our Kelsey Anderson is going to be breaking down that for us in a live report.
I think that is the scariest thing about this virus. It spreads before you even know you have it.
And a COVID-19 outbreak forced the employees at the Tyson meat plant in Cass County off the job. This morning, while plant workers say new safety procedures still aren't enough. It is 5:31. Thanks for joining us here on Good Morning Indiana. I'm Lauren Casey. Todd Clausen is standing by from home this morning. And after 2 wonderful days in our forecast here in central Indiana, that's starting to change. Todd, what do people need to know as they head out the door this morning?
Yeah, Lauren, the humidity is going to come up, the temperatures are going to come up, and we're going to bring back the chance of storms. With that said, we're not talking about washouts. I know it's the weekend, and there's a lot of talk about thunderstorms, and you look on your phone, and it'll show the thunderstorm icon. You think the whole day is going to be a washout. Not the case here. There will be a lot of dry hours mixed in, and the weather is just not going to be as spectacular as it has been the past 2 days across the area. Sky's starting to brighten here on this Friday morning, and as we go throughout the morning hours, temperatures will continue to climb. Usually we'll see our low temperatures occur right before sunrise, so that would be in the next hour or so. But these temperatures already starting to make their way into the 70s from Terre Haute to Bloomington and Sullivan, up to 68 now in Indianapolis, and that's because the warm front is approaching with some cloud cover first, and then you notice a few spotty showers across parts of Illinois here as well. The heaviest of the rain is going to bypass us to the north here, the north of Chicago. But as the warm front comes through, there will be a few isolated sprinkles mid-morning through about the noon hour, maybe a rumble of thunder, but I think it's probably more showers or a quick downpour than anything. Once that goes through, plenty of hazy sunshine this afternoon. Those temperatures climb all the way to near 90 degrees as the humidity climbs as well. That's going to set us up for a very, very muggy weekend, Lauren. We'll talk more about that coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, Todd, thank you. Let's take a look at traffic as we're heading out on the roads this morning. This is our camera at I-65 and I-70 at the North Split. Traffic here in downtown is traveling up to speed, especially at the North Split, as you can see by our camera there. It is picking up for your Friday. We'll continue to keep a close eye on your commute, but we do want to let you know about another major road closure. This went into effect this morning. It's the I-70 lanes heading westbound between the South Split downtown over to Ronald Reagan Parkway on the west side. Those are now closed. And so our Kelsey Anderson is joining us live this morning about how this new interstate closure can impact your morning commute. Kelsey, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Lawrence. You can see behind me, they've already got barriers up here at I-70 westbound on McCarty Street. Obviously, now this is closed, and it's going to be closed for about a month. INDOT says that they are planning on doing concrete patching and working on bridges in this area. Now, as most of you know, I-70 West is a popular interstate to get people to downtown and also to the airport. INDOT says all collector lanes will be open to and from the airport during the closures. So to get to the airport from I-70 westbound, you should take I-465 southbound around to the Ronald Reagan collector lanes, or you continue north on I-465 to get back on I-70 westbound. Now, these full interstate closures will make for faster work and, most importantly, ensure the safety for workers. Now, the timing of this work is, of course, weather dependent. So if there are a lot of storms coming up over the next month, this closure could last a little bit longer. Again, we want to remind you to plan out your route before you head out if I-70 West is even a part of your route during this next month. And of course, make sure you drive without distractions. I'm Kelsey Anderson, RTV6.
Kelsey, thank you. It is 5:34. New from overnight, a crash on the city's southwest side leaves 2 people dead. That crash happened around 1:15 this morning on Kentucky Avenue, just north of Ameriplex Parkway. Officers at the scene tell RTV6 that a vehicle was traveling northbound on Kentucky Avenue at a high rate of speed and lost control. Both people inside the vehicle were thrown from the vehicle and died at the scene. An update now this morning on how COVID-19 is impacting Indiana. The State Department of Health reports 523 new COVID-19 cases. That's 242 more cases than were reported on Wednesday. The exact reason for this increase is unclear, but a look at the number of new tests on Thursday show that nearly 12,400 people were tested, and that's almost 7,000 more people that were tested than on Wednesday. The state also confirms 9 new COVID-19 deaths. Since the pandemic began, nearly 2,400 Hoosiers have died from the coronavirus. This morning, 1 month after executives with Tyson Foods talked to RTV6 about the coronavirus safety measures inside the Logansport plant, an employee is calling on that company to do more.
But we need help from the government and the companies. No one should have to get seriously ill or die, not when they can be protected.
Dennis Medburn works at the Logansport plant. He spoke publicly at a news conference with his union, UFCW. He feels safety precautions to prevent the spread of COVID-19 in that facility were made too late to have an impact. Back in early May, a different Tyson employee shared his concerns with RTV6 after hundreds of his co-workers tested positive for the virus. A couple of weeks after that, company officials shared this video with us showing some of the extra measures being taken to protect employees, including temperature checks, break room sanitation, and on-site medical screenings. Medborn says more can still be done.
It's been a dark few months. I think that is the scariest thing about this virus. It spreads before you even know you have it, and so much is still unknown. There are still people in the plant that are at risk of getting it, which means there are still people coming into work every day in fear.
The Tyson plant in Logansport closed from April 25th to May 10th while the company tested all of its employees and instituted new procedures. Nearly 900 of the facility's 2,200 employees were infected with COVID-19. Tyson released a lengthy statement saying in part, quote, "Since we worked with the health officials to conduct facility-wide testing of our Logansport plant back in April, we've seen a significant improvement. We're not aware of any positive cases on any team member currently working in our facility. Any team member who has tested positive will remain on sick leave until they've satisfied official health requirements for return to work, and we currently have very few cases." You can read the full statement from Tyson right now on the RTV6 app. At 5:37 this morning, many people are struggling in different ways because of the pandemic. Support will be available later today at a drive-through resource fair held here in Indianapolis. Tables and booths will be set up in a parking lot at Martin University from 2 to 5 p.m. You can get free face coverings, school supplies, health screenings, food, counseling, information, and more. Organizers want people to know that city and community services are still available.
Our community has been in their homes for several months now. COVID, everything's reopening. So we're trying to get all our community members information and just giving them the resources and showing them that we care as organizations here in the community for their life.
The fair is free and open to all. No registration is required. Again, that's being held this afternoon at Martin University in the parking lot from 2 to 5 o'clock. For months, Call 6 Investigates Kara Kenny has been digging into the problem of racial inequity and discipline disparity in our schools. In fact, she found out that Indiana ranks 4th highest in the country when it comes to the rate of out-of-school suspensions for black teens in middle and high school. Black students make up 12% of the state's student population, and they make up 26% of the arrests on school property. Experts say this discipline disparity has lifelong impacts on black people in our state, and this morning, one IPS commissioner is proposing changes to try and fix the issue. Commissioner Vanita Moore's proposal includes working alongside IPS's superintendent and district leadership to address the disproportionate suspension and expulsion rates and develop a report and action plan for community review within the next 90 days. This strategy would also require all IPS police officers to attend racial equity training. Moore also wants IPS to launch a district-wide curriculum review to include civil rights education and training for students. Again, this is a proposal and will likely need approval from the IPS board before moving forward. At 5:39, let's toss things over to Todd for a look at our Friday forecast. Hey, TK.
Good morning, Lauren, and happy Friday. We made it to the end of the week and the end of the week and the weekend, bringing some changes to our weather pattern. And some of those changes already starting to occur this morning. There's a little more in the way of cloud cover, but we're dry on Storm Team 6 radar right now. But as we expand out, you notice a few spotty downpours and storms across parts of Illinois. That is the warm front that is going to be working its way through the area during the course of the morning hours. And then behind that, the area of low pressure with the trailing cold front, and that cold front eventually gets here early Saturday morning. But thankfully, we're going to avoid the severe weather. So as this warm front comes through, there's a spot shower mid-morning. And the Storm Prediction Center does have parts of central Indiana under the slight risk for severe weather, but that's not for this morning. That's for the cold front that is going to drop through late tonight into early Saturday morning. So it's basically a 1-2 punch. The warm front comes through, then the cold front comes through tonight. But you can see with that enhanced risk of severe weather through Chicago and lower Michigan and extreme northern Indiana, and that's where the worst of the storms will be. The storms will be in a weakening state as they arrive here in central Indiana overnight. We'll talk more about that for you coming up in Maine weather in just a few minutes.
All right, Todd, thank you. Warmer weather means more people may be taking to the waterways across the state, and that's led to a series of drownings so far. So still ahead, the message officials want you to hear before you plan your weekend on the lake.
Best thing we can offer a child is a place where they feel like they belong.
A West Side community has plans for a safe place for youth and teens. This morning, how you can help them bring their blueprints to life. That story and more coming up just after the break.
Years ago, Zeljan's.
We do have sad news this morning out of Northeast Indiana. Conservation officers say that an Illinois man has become the latest person to die on Indiana waterways. Officials say that 61-year-old Rocky Rutledge was swimming with his family in Pokagon State Park near Angola on Thursday. Rutledge drowned after reportedly trying to retrieve his boat, which was drifting away. Those swimming nearby attempted to save Rutledge, but the man died at the scene. And that man is the 9th person to drown here in Indiana in the past 12 days. Several of those drownings have happened while people are swimming in our local waterways. And so our Alyssa Donovan explains what officials want you to do to stay safe around the water this summer.
Accidents on lakes and rivers can happen when you're swimming or boating, which is why it's so important to have a plan before you even head out on the waterways.
Planning ahead and knowing what hazards you might encounter is critical when it comes to water safety. If you're kayaking or tubing, make sure you have the proper protective equipment. Wearing PFDs or life jackets is critical. As for swimming, be sure you're competent with the natural environment. It's not quite the same as when you're in your backyard pool. You need to keep an eye out for currents and waves and underwater obstructions.
We want people to know where they're going, plan their routes ahead of time. And then wear the PFDs. That is one of the biggest things you can do to keep yourself safe is wear those life jackets and make sure everybody in the group has one, regardless of your swim level.
While boating and hanging out at the lake is often associated with alcohol, law enforcement says you really need to limit your consumption when you're around water, especially when driving a boat. The same rules apply on the road as they do on the water when it comes to drunk driving. I'm Alyssa Donovan, RTV6.
All right, thank you, Alyssa. Certainly good tips. Always have that life jacket handy if you're going to be out and about, especially if you're kayaking and running water. And I think rivers and streams and lakes and pools going to be very busy here this weekend. A couple things you have to look out for this weekend. Of course, thunderstorms. Obviously, if there's any lightning, do not be out on the water and seek shelter, even though the storms this weekend are not expected to be severe. Certainly, lightning makes every storm dangerous. Outside right now, we are dealing with the sky starting to brighten. Sunrise officially just over a half hour away. We're going to start off with some hazy sunshine. Then there'll be a brief period today where we get into some shower chances, and then back into the hazy sunshine this afternoon as we crank up the heat as well. And you notice these warmer temperatures already starting to work in. Terre Haute to Bloomington at 70. There's 68 in Indianapolis, and most likely once the 6 o'clock hours, temperatures come in at the top of the hour, these are likely going to go up a couple degrees here this morning as the warm front is working its way through the area. So the storm chance this morning is actually, the storm chance today is actually this morning through about the noon hour, and then it's hazy sunshine throughout the afternoon and evening hours. And the warm front is just now approaching Terre Haute as well as Bloomington. And you notice there's a broken line of showers with this warm front as it's making its way through Illinois. So that's the first thing that comes through. And that sets us up for will be a very hot afternoon with those high temperatures near 90 degrees. But then there's also a cold front that is off to our northwest. And this is all associated with an area of low pressure that's spinning away there just north of Omaha. And the cold front is what impacts our forecast for the day tomorrow. So let me walk you through today and tomorrow using TrueCast. 8 a.m. this morning, a few spotty showers off to the west of Indianapolis. They'll make their way through the metro area 10 a.m. to about 1 p.m. Now, they're spotty and they're very light this morning. This is not a big weather event for us as this warm front comes through. I just don't want you to be shocked if you see a quick downpour or a sprinkle for your lunch hour. And then that front pushes through the area, goes off to Ohio, and much of the afternoon is just warm, muggy with that hazy sunshine. Now, late tonight, the cold front is going to start to drop into northern Indiana. So overnight tonight, there could be a spot stronger storm in northern portions of the state. But what happens throughout the day tomorrow is that cold front will kind of stall across central Indiana. And that is key because where that front sets up and stalls, that is where there is going to be the best potential for some thunderstorms during the day tomorrow. So some of you probably get some heavy rainfall and several rounds of thunderstorms on Saturday, but some of you probably are dry for the entire day for the most part. It just really depends where that front sets up. So we'll keep thunderstorms in the forecast for Saturday. They're probably a little more spotty in nature on Sunday, with high temperatures due to the clouds and those shower chances. A little bit cooler tomorrow and Sunday at 85 degrees, but it's still going to be extremely muggy on Saturday and Sunday, so it's going to be rather uncomfortable. So as far as your plans go today, don't worry about that storm chance. Tomorrow you may have to alter your plans a little bit, but there will be some dry hours throughout the day on Saturday. It's not a complete washout, but when it rains, it's going to rain pretty heavy in some of those storms. Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, still warm, still muggy, scattered showers and storms. Those are mainly during the peak heating of the day in the afternoon. Think more of the pop-up storms rather than a front coming through. And then Thursday, mostly sunny skies, Lauren, and a high temperature that'll be topping off right around 88 degrees.
All right, Todd, thank you so much. Let's take a look at traffic right now as you're heading out on the roads. This is our camera at I-70 near Sherman Drive. You can see traffic there on the east side is moving along up to speed, both eastbound and westbound. No delays to slow you down. Leaders behind a plan to build a safe haven for kids on the southwest side of Indianapolis are looking for financing. Talks of building a new youth center in Mars Hill on the corner of Holt Road and Southern Avenue have been going on since 2017. The center would be a place for different activities, including athletics. Neighbors say transportation and funding often prevent kids from traveling further into Wayne Township, where sports leagues are located. Several elected officials support this project.
My son got a pep talk from Victor Oladipo because of the Mars Hill Youth Center. We've been to Pacer games because of the Mars Hill Youth Center. It's, and not just at Pacer games, down in the practice arena, practicing on the floor with Boomer and, so it's been amazing.
The center needs $150,000. So for more information about the project, you can just visit our website, theindychannel.com. Well, let's light a candle to set the mood. The right scent can really change an entire room. We'll show you one place that's open and ready to help you design your very own experience. It's 5:51. We'll be right back.
Hensley Legal Group, the strength to make a difference.
From the smell of fresh cut grass to a warm apple pie, different scents can spark a little something inside of each of us. As our Brad Brown shows us, one local shop is giving its customers a chance to use a flicker of creativity to create memories of their own.
Right now, we could all use a moment of serenity. At Penn and Beach, you can find a little bit of your own comfort, one wick at a time.
It's memory and making your space comfortable, ambient lighting. It's warm. Cozy.
Brianna Doles opened her shop near the corner of College Avenue and Mass Ave a couple years ago. It all started as a hobby, making candles at home.
Some of my friends were even coming down in the basement and customizing their own scented candles. And we started out with 10 oils. Now we're up to, 100, 120.
Penn and Beach features a pour your own candle experience. Each guest gets to customize their fragrance, choosing from more than 100 scents.
Scent is a lot of memory. So they'll be like, I want to make mom's favorite perfume, or I was at this hotel in Chicago and I want to make it smell just like that. That's their favorite part.
A variety of shapes and sizes of candles are available. A fresh pour of soy-based wax sets up in a couple of hours. Penn and Beach also offers more than 100 pre-made options. The shops were closed for about 8 weeks this spring, but Brianna says customer demand remains strong.
The community support was amazing. We were having about 20 to 30 orders a day. So we were in the shop fulfilling 2, 3, 4 days a week. That kept us afloat.
And each flicker of the flame can bring a little peace during challenging times.
We had a lot of custom notes on our online orders saying, this is getting me through quarantine. I've learned that when I sit down at the office, I need to create a new space. So they'll light up a candle and it takes them out of their home into a new environment.
Working for you, Brad Brown, RTV6.
All right. Thank you, Brad. Maybe a good activity for you to do on a very warm and muggy day, or potentially on a wet day. And we have a little heat, we have a little humidity, and we have some storms in the forecast over the course of the next couple of days. This morning, we're off to a pretty nice start with all the sunshine you see out there. As we work our way throughout the morning hours, though, you're going to notice a couple things. The temperatures are going to continue to climb pretty quickly, and by 9, 10 o'clock, we'll start to bring in the chance of a few spotty showers. But it's a small window of opportunity today for these rain chances. It's basically 9, 10 a.m. through about, I would say, the noon hour. And it's just part of a warm front that's working its way through the area. And you can see some of these spotty showers across parts of Illinois. That's what it's going to look like when it makes its way here in Indiana. It's not a solid line of storms coming through. It'll be very spotty. And once that warm front goes through, look at the temperatures this afternoon. Into the 90s in many locations, to the north and east, upper 80s. But again, the humidity comes up as well. More on the weekend forecast coming up in the 6 o'clock hour when Raphael joins Lauren and myself. Stay with us. We're back in just a couple minutes.